This is Supernatural Platinum, also known as Colt. For most of his full life, he has been running on 30 acres of property and not had much handling. It has taken us a good few weeks to be able to actually get in there and get a hold of him and work with him with leading. It took about 2 weeks to finally be able to walk in there and only take a minute or two to get a hold of him. He still reacts pretty bad, but he thinks about it and he'll face you and allow you to come up. He had a really bad issue with thresholds. He did not like walking over them. He would bolt backwards or he'd jump. This is his first time ever being led to the round pen and being allowed to run around. We wanted to make sure we could catch him before we just let him go. We have worked tirelessly on being able to approach him and being able to touch him, pat him, rub on him, and everything else. Now we want him to use the thinking side of his brain, which for him might take a little bit because he's not used to it. He's used to reacting around other herd members. At this point, I just wanted him to be able to move around the round pen. Get him to realize that I'm asking him to do something. He had a bad issue with stopping near the door, wanting to be closer to the other horses. So I had to constantly slap the ground with my stick and get him to move. We didn't want him stopping right now, we wanted him to keep going. Right here, I'm asking him to turn around, but I want him to turn inwards. As they say, make the wrong decision hard and make the right decision easy. So when he makes the wrong choice and turns away from me, I make him run. I don't make him run for a long period of time, just a few moments, just so he can get the idea that, you might not want to do that. As you can see here, with no pressure, he's still running. I'm allowing him to get his energy out, since he has been in a stall for about 2 weeks. He is extremely sensitive when it comes to things like that. You can see he turned away from me, but he came up. I wasn't going to discipline him for coming up because he at least tried to trot up to me. But the moment he turns away, I do put pressure on him to make him move as soon as he gets on the rail. Very light pressure, as you can see. I'm just asking him to move. As you can see here, I'm wanting him to turn around, but he turns away from me. So I cut him off, and then he turns towards me. Then I don't put any pressure on him. I just let him trot. You have to make sure you get the respect of any horse. He's only 9 months old, and he has the power to be able to kill someone if he wanted to by rearing up or bashing them with their head. He cannot be allowed to be pushy, to be scared of everything, or react without thinking. As you can see here, I'm backing away. I'm pointing. I give him the option to be able to go, and he's not, so I move forward, put a little bit of pressure on him, and he turns. I don't force him to move any faster than what he wants to move once he makes the right choice. I try to use the pointing as a keep going method. Like, no, you're not allowed to stop there. We do use a lot of vocalization. So for trotting, I use the clucking. And for cantering, I use, or I say the word canter. You can see here, I'm pointing. He makes the wrong choice. I go after him. I put a lot of pressure on him. I have never hit him once with the whip. This is just a pressure thing. Just making him move, making him move. Keep those feet moving. The more he moves his feet, he knows he's not in charge. I let him calm down a little bit, and then I ask him to turn, but if he makes the wrong choice again, I go after him. I just had shoulder surgery, so I'm actually using the whip in a very different way because I can't swing it around like most people can. And as you can see, I make him go around about 2 or 3 times. But since this was his second mistake in a row, I make him go a little bit more. And you see I back away, calm down, and he does eventually turn in. At this point, he had been able to stand. He walked halfway up to me, so I walked up to him. And I started rubbing him all over. He does have the little issue of backing away, but he's not backing away to freak out or run away. He's just backing away as in, where's his space? And I understand. But I want him to understand that petting and touching is not bad, that we can get him, we can touch him, and the whip is nowhere in his face, nowhere around his face. I'm actually holding it behind me or beside me. I pat him a little bit because we've been working on that because we don't want him freaking out when we pat him. And then I walk away. Nice thing is he does try to follow. The moment I face him, he does stop. So he is respectable about some space. But sometimes he tries to give too much. As you see, he stepped back a little bit. But he didn't try to run away. I was adjusting his halter a little bit. And then I walk away from him, giving him his space. The nice thing is he did start to come up. He's licking and chewing. When they use the thinking side of their brain, they're more respectable. They're more aware of their surroundings. They understand that they don't need to freak out or run off. Horses are very fight or flight. And if they have to choose, they will flight instead. They will run off. They will take off in any direction they can. Little movements like he does with his legs, I don't mind so much because he is still learning. But as long as he's not turning around and bolting off, I'm okay with that. This session was probably about 10 minutes. I set my goal. I tell myself this is what I want to accomplish. And once it's accomplished, we don't do any more. I do not want to overload his baby brain.